Oh my god. Chapter 1180 called Omen of One Piece just came out, and Emo has descended. Emo is on the battlefield, and Emo is making tracks right now, because now from the previous chapter we've seen that Emu actually came to Elbaf and was on top of the castle, the huge castle that basically Emu destroyed a little bit, but was still on top, like on top of a pyramid. Looked kind of weird and everything, but it looked a little bit like that, the pyramid with the eye on top, because Emu was on top of the pyramid with the eyes and everything. But Emu is scary. And from the beginning of the page, from the beginning of the chapter, Emu's already on the go. Emu does not have time to waste, because it looks like Emu is on a timeline, and it sounds like he cannot stay too long on Elbaf to do what he needs to do. And from what we've seen already, Emu, when he was, when he descended and he started to transform or something, he literally was bleeding and all of that. So there's probably something. And also, I talked about my theory on maybe Emu having the sapphire scale disease. Maybe that's a theory about this whole condition and all of that. So go check out my other video, literally just came out. And Emu is like, who is the king of this land? And people, Dory and Broggy are like, oh yeah, there's no king and all of that. But at the same time, Emu is like watching right there, and Emu sees Summers in a very dire situation, because Summers literally was being carried by Gerd, Gerd, and Gerd was basically playing a little bit with him and seeing that, he can reattach and detach and all of that. And literally, as right as Emu sees all of that and sees Summers, Emu goes to actually deliver Summers from Gerd, and Gerd literally was holding him like this, and she basically gets her fingers chopped by Emo. And everybody's like, oh my god, what happened? How did it happen? How fast did it happen? Like, no one's seen anything happen until it literally happened. And we've got Zoro going like, what the hell is just going on right now? You've got Chopper like, what the hell happened? You've got some of the giants, meaning Hachurudin and all of that, are like, oh my god, I don't know what happened, but this guy literally looks like an enemy. And they're like, oh, is it a God's Knight or something? He's like, I don't care. He looks like an enemy, and he looks like, he literally chopped Gerd's fingers. And that's where you see Emu literally right in front of Zoro, and Zoro is ready. And Summers at the same time, Summers now has been able to actually reattach himself and grab on that metallic heart that he has in himself that was outside of him. And he's like, oof, thank God, and all of that. So that metallic heart, there's going to be another theory that will come out on the channel at some point, so I'll let you know on that one. And then Hajrudin is coming in for the strike. Hajrudin is like, yeah, you are the enemy. He's like, ah. But then right as he's ready to punch Emo, Stanson actually comes out to save Hajrudin. And he's like, don't mess with that dude. He looks dangerous. And he pushes Hajrudin with a kick, basically. But in that same push, literally you see that his leg got chopped, and literally Stanson lost a leg by saving Hajrudin at that point. And the rest of the giants, meaning even Dora and Broggy, they're like, oh my god, what is this creature? What is this? We thought we were done with this shit. And that's where at the same time Zoro shows up, and he's going for the strike. He's going in for the Onigiri. And at the same time, Emu uses its tail, and the tail of Emu looks like a devil, because Emu's got horns and he's got a tail like a devil. And from that perspective, Emu defends himself with that tail against the onigiri of Zoro. And the fun fact is, it actually did nothing to Emu. Literally one of Zoro's most powerful, strike literally did nothing. So in a way, you've got the wannabe king of hell and the actual king of hell. And oh my god, that fight literally ended up quick, because right after that, Emu is using one attack that's called Omen. And that Omen, basically, Emu does a sign with its fingers or with its hand, and he's like this, and you can see some dark flames form, and he did something to Zoro, and he and Zoro, you can literally see him like, whoa, and he's bleeding and all of that. So I don't know what that power does, but that Omen, is powerful. And right after that, Hajruddin is coming in for the strike. Hajruddin, he picked up a weapon and he's going in like, oh, I'm gonna defeat him. But right as he's coming in close to Imu, Imu actually does something else with its fingers like this or whatever. Looks like a little bit like Naruto, Henjutsu, the ninjutsus and all of that. Kind of the same in a way. But you can see Imu actually do something, like flip its fingers or whatever, just like this. And like just like this. And he has some flames. And from those flames, you can see like a devil figure, like a black figure, like a black ball with a face on it, and he's coming out of that flame, and that's what's attacking Hajruddin. And from attacking Hajruddin, it literally exploded, and the size of the explosion is massive. And from that explosion, literally you see that Hajruddin is down, some of the other giants, for example even Stenson, is down, and you even see Zoro is down. So literally Zoro has, we thought Zoro had it in the pocket or whatever. No, I guess not against Imu in that case. And right after that, Imu is right next to Summers that's still trying to recoup from his injuries and everything. And Imu actually gives something to Summers, and that it gives him the omen. And basically by giving him the omen or something, he was able to recuperate way faster, and now he's regenerated and looking fine. And Imu is telling Summers, yeah, Summers, hurry your ass up. This is not the time to actually chill around. I don't have the time. So let's go. And he's like, yes, sir, let's go. And that's where they make a jump for it. One is going this direction and the other one is going the other direction. I don't know where Summers is going, but we know where Imu is going, because right after that, we see that even on Elbaf, there is a message going all around saying, oh, to all Elbaf, there is a new foe that just came up, and he looks like he's even stronger than the God's Knights, like even in a bigger hierarchy. So watch out with him. And as you hear that message, you also see Imu, and you see Imu literally flying with its wings. And from the wings that Imu has, maybe it's a Lunarian. And my theory on it is maybe, hear me out, maybe he was Imu back in the day, a Lunarian that was sick with the sapphire scale disease, and from that perspective, maybe he made a deal with the devil himself, and with making that deal, that devil is, I don't know, making him do whatever he wants at that point. And I was like, maybe he actually, decided to go for all of the rest of the Lunarians and only leave one person, and that one person is Imu. Maybe. You guys, let me know down in the comments below about this theory. But let's keep going. At that point, we see that all the rest of the giants are like, what the hell just happened? We thought we were done with everything. We thought we were, we defeated the people that tried to harm us and all of that. But no, I guess not. And that's where you see Imu actually go into the position of Gunko, because yeah, that's my subordinate. I need to actually go and help her and all of that. And he goes to Gunko, and he sees that Gunko is actually imprisoned in a block of ice. And this is a very important moment, because from the previous talks we had in the previous chapters, we know that Loki said that the only way to actually liberate Gunko from her prison of ice is by using Ratatoskr, Ragnir, the hammer and all of that. And from that perspective, I was like, hold on. So what if the only way that you can actually break the ice that's on Punk Hazard, that's imprisoning all of the giants that's over there, because from my theory, that's literally the Galila right there. So I was like, maybe that the only person and the only weapon that can actually break through that ice is Ratatoskr, aka Ragnir, with the help of Loki. But if right now Imu actually breaks the ice, that tells me that Imu is also able to go to Punk Hazard and break the ice. Why didn't Imu actually do it? I don't know. Are you gonna tell me that Imu doesn't know about the giants on Punk Hazard? I don't think so. I think Imu knows, because there was a whole research lab and all of that with the Marines, everything. Like they knew, you know? So my perspective on this, Emu is probably not going to be able to crack on the ice that Loki actually created. And in this perspective, Emu actually goes for the ice and he uses his baton, and from the end of his baton, same thing, something appeared, like a devilish form or something appeared at the end of it and went to strike against the ice that's blocking Gunko inside, and poof, explosion again. But then from there, Emu actually moved away. So even Emu doesn't know if it actually worked or no. And my guess is we're not going to see that until probably the next chapters, but I don't think it actually worked. And then we've got in front of the elevator in the Sun Realm, Gaban is even like, yeah, I've never actually felt this kind of hockey. Like, I don't even recognize this type of hockey. Like, whoa, what the hell? And then you jump to the Walrus School. And in the Walrus School, you can see Loki with Luffy and the squirrel, and they're all eating. They're making sure they have enough power to go against whatever they need to go against, because they just felt the hockey and they go like, yeah, we need everything to our disposal to actually do what needs to be done. And right after that, boom, we are going back to the Straw Hats. And the Straw Hats, in here we've got Frankie, we've got Nami, we've got Sanji, and we've got Jinbei. And all of them are also with one of the God's Knights, Killingham. And they're like, yeah, what's going on in here? And at the same time that we see Killingham, we see a black circle behind him. And that's basically the omen, the power that Emu is basically bestowing upon like the God's Knights to actually fix them and repair them quicker and faster. And that's where Sanji actually sees Emu, and Emu sees Sanji, but Sanji is so pissed because of what's going on, and he knows that Emu is the enemy and all of that because of his haki and everything, and he tried to save Killingham and all of that. Literally, Sanji goes in for the kill, and he uses one of his legs to actually, fight Emu. But from the strike with Emu, literally Sanji hurt his leg so bad that he started on literally bleeding from the strike. And right after the strike, woof, Emu comes back with his own strike on Sanji, and Sanji is like, oh my god. Because you see also the difference of sizes in between Sanji and Emu, and trust me, there's like a big size in between of them. Like Emu is probably the size of Kaido, or a little bit bigger than Kaido, for example. And when you have that against Sanji is like, So right here, we literally see the defeats of the wings of the Pirate King, basically, Zoro and Sanji, because right after that, King Sanji also went to the left and poof, explosion. So Sanji is also down for the moment. And hopefully in the next chapters they will be able to get back to the battlefield and hopefully help out and do whatever they need to do, and hopefully train a little bit with more Conqueror's Haki, because it looks like that's the only option you can actually use against Emu. But right after there, we have one of the biggest introductions in between two enemies. We've got on one side Emu, and on the other side we've got Loki. And how Loki showed up on the battlefield, literally he's right behind Emu. Emu that we thought, he was big and strong and all of that. But Loki showed up right behind Emu, and you can see the difference of sizes because, Loki is looking at Emu like, you fucking bitch. But Emu is like, I'm looking for the one who destroyed my own servant Harold 14 years ago. And he is the one sought. And Loki is like, my own servant, my ass. Harold was my father and the king of Elbaf. And that's when you get that picture of literally one facing the other, and you get Loki that's literally just looking dark. And he's like, and the one you're looking for is me, And Emu is like, I see, horror. And Emu is like, in his weird phrasing, he's like, hadst thou not existed, this trouble might have been avoided. And he's like, but I do exist in this world, in Elbaf. And don't you forget that, you bastard. And they lock eyes because literally this is the moment Loki was looking for to get his revenge on whoever did whatever to his father, to the point of even killing his own father 14 years ago. And so this is the golden time for Loki to get his revenge against that person. And Emo on the other is literally was scared up until this point to go to Elbaf, because Emo was like, I don't know what's hiding in Elbaf, because to the point where they can go against somebody as strong as Harold that had the powers of devilish powers and all of that. I don't know what's hiding in Elbaf, but at the same time, that's why Emu was like, I don't want to send everybody and all of that. And that's why literally Emu showed up to Elbaf, because they're like, yeah, I need to go there now. But from that perspective, now we have literally ding 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 the beginning of the biggest fight that will start on One Piece. Literally, on one side we've got Loki, and on the other we've got Emo. They're about to start the fight, and Luffy will come up at some point and help out the fight against Emo at the same time, and hopefully that fight is gonna be epic to actually see, to actually read, and I'll be here to actually let you know on everything that happens in the next chapter, guys. So don't forget to tune in with me. Don't forget to comment down below your thoughts on this chapter. Don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Share this video to as many people as you know, and I'll see you in the next one.